As men, we have an innate drive to be something special, an alpha. And as much as they can try to shame us out of using that word, that drive is undeniable. It is the reason why, as kids, we like watching superhero movies. As we grow older, we like watching sports. Men all around the world love watching sports, right? We love watching like rappers and like musicians and that sort of thing. Right? Back in the day, like being an alpha was only reserved for, the special ones, right? The people who were in the royal family or whatever it was, like the ones who inherited it, and then you had to like sort of live up to your responsibilities and lead a nation, right? If you weren't born in that sort of thing, you could be an alpha in like your own like special, right? But you were capped, right? In this day and age, you have the privilege that there's many different ways you can be an alpha, right? In this day and age, we have a problem where the alphas are like your Mark Zuckerbergs or whatever, the people that are owning like the big social media platforms, the tech nerds, right? They're running the world. They've got everyone on like little strings, like puppet masters, as Iman calls them, right? They're like the alphas. But like even like with them, like a lot of us more like masculine guys, we don't really like respect those kind of people. But you look at like your athletes, right? You still want to be like an athlete and that sort of thing, right? Even if you don't like actually want to be an athlete, every guy at some point wanted to be like an athlete, or you admire something about it, right? That feeling of standing in front of the wall, showing your physical prowess, whether it's basketball and you're jumping and you're hitting a dunk, or it's football and you're running and you're like jumping in the air and you're headering the ball, or whatever it is. Like there's something special about being an athlete, right? You're showing like a complete. It's men at like their peak physical performance, right? Or bodybuilding. You watch that sort of thing. Like you have that. Superheroes, right? You get to see people like saving the world. Like as a man, you have this innate like drive to want to just be the hero, right? There's that. Even rappers, slightly less so, but we still like look up to certain aspects of that sort of thing. Where you've just got all the money, you can do what you want, you got all the hoes and that sort of thing. Whatever it is, like we've got that drive. Now the problem we have in this day and age is that drive is not only like being dampened, by trying to make us like more feminine and that sort of thing, but it's being like sapped out of us. Whatever is left, right? Because no matter what you try to do, like the biological drive will always be there. No matter what you try to do, like there is always going to be that little bit, and it's being sapped out by not only like you just kind of watching stuff on like scrolling on TikTok and YouTube Shorts and that sort of thing, but video games, right? So you obviously have like porn. That's like we all know about that. That's driving everything out of you. And then you have like sports, right? Instead of you going out and like trying to be like the best you can, you're watching other people do it, and it's fine. Like there's nothing wrong with like trying to appreciate excellence. There's nothing wrong with that, right? But just try not to like live vicariously through that. But the biggest like problem with this is video games, right? In video games, we all love video games, right? You get to go in and you get to create a whole new character. You're not there's someone else there that's got like different attributes. You can pick the little attributes that you want, whether it's GTA, if you're playing like Call of Duty, whatever it is, right? You get to build like a character, and there's something fun about that. And once you start to do that, you don't have like the drive to do it in real life, because obviously it's much easier there. The progress is much faster, it's more instantaneous. You're doing it for much less effort. But what you don't realize is that life is like the better video game. Think about it. Video games are based off of real life, right? FIFA, based off of soccer. Football, sorry. Football in real life. GTA, it's based off of like gang life and that sort of thing. Call of Duty, based off of war, right? Because you want to go into war and you want to go and like shoot everyone and like win the war. There's massive, immense pride about that. And now you just have that in video games, right? Video games are based off of real life. So now in real life, you're living like the best video game. Now, it's a lot more difficult. It takes a lot longer to build things. But once you do build them, the rewards are so much like longer lasting. They last way longer. And if you can like look at your life and you try to turn it into a video game, because the best thing about video games is what they've managed to do and how they manage to make you like, how they manage to appeal to you, right? Is that they take the best like aspects of life, the coolest parts of life, right? Where it's like you take a character, they start off with nothing. Then you customize them, you do whatever you want with them, right? You build little attributes, you try them out, you see what you like, what you don't like, and you go and you do it again. You do that in real life as well. But what they do in real life is that it's measurable, right? It's measurable. You can see it and you get to like feel the rewards. Whereas in real life, it's not, you don't really feel it in the moment, right? So if you can like transfer, if you can take those aspects, right? So video games have taken real life and they've put them into video games in the best like package possible to motivate you to play them. Right now, what I want you to do is to take the best aspects out of video games and apply them to your life. Right? So build your hypermasculine character. Shout out to First Man. This is where I first heard about this concept of a hypermasculine character, and then I heard Andrew Tate mention it again, and then I was like, okay, you sort of get to see like the little hypermasculine characters that they build. Like, so obviously you've seen with like Andrew Tate when he was speaking about like being a hypermasculine character, how he built his hypermasculine character. He was talking about how like I think it was like something like Batman. Like he wanted to be like Batman, and it was like his Bugatti is. It kind of looks like a Batmobile, right? And he gets to be like Batman. He's like kind of like this really rich guy. He gets to do whatever he wants, right? And I also like hear it like when I'm listening to this rapper called Dave. He's a UK rapper. Like he's always rapping about. Okay, he talks a lot about like being like Harvey Specter, because Harvey Specter hires fraudsters, and he also said like, you know, he's like in the gangs, and then he hires like fraudsters as well, because obviously like they gangs and that sort of thing. But he also mentions a lot about James Bond, right? Because he loves like an Aston Martin. He's always talking about putting a tracker in his car, whipping the Aston out of park. You know, he feels like 007, that sort of thing. Like there's something cool about that, right? And then he mentions there's times where he's talking about how there's this line that just like arises something out of me, right? He was like, he had everyone dressed in black, like he came here trying to unlock a new character, right? That's literally a lyric that I just think about. I'm just like, it just arises something in me, right? Because it's like, you can just unlock a new character. Like, that's so cool about like video games, but you can do that in real life as well. You can create whatever it is you want to be. Like, you can do that. I know this isn't like some wishy-washy, you can be whatever you want to be. Like, just think about your life like a video game and try and create like your own hypermasculine character. Especially if you're someone who's got like no confidence, or you don't know where you're going and that sort of thing. Pick someone you want to be, aim at that. Right, you can sort of customize them how you want, because there's obviously like certain, with role models, they're going to be things you don't like about them, things you do like about them, and you sort of pick and choose what you want. You can create your own little thing, right? So like again, like the thing I was telling about Dave, like where he loves like James Bond, he's always mentioning James Bond, and there's also another line where he says he's got he has a black suit, a black car, a black gun, and it's just, there's something about, it's like you're just doing what you want, like you're living this life that you want, right? Like it's literally something out of a video game, something out of a movie, and if you can get to like do that, you build your own character. Like it's sick. I'll tell you like the two characters I've built, right? Because I don't know why I ended up doing like two. I've got like one which is like a main one, which is sort of me as like an athlete. I call him MJ7. I guess it's a little bit of a play off of CR7, but like he's more of like he's an athlete. He's a superstar. He's always in shape. He's charismatic. I literally like wrote it out. Like I wrote it out. This ties in with like building an alter ego, the alter ego effect. There's a book called The Alter Ego Effect. I'd suggest you like go read it. You can find like the audio book somewhere. It helps you, like I've spoken about this again, like building an identity. It helps you put everything else in line, right? So for me, I've got like MJ7, right? He's like an athlete. Like I put on like this thing where I'm just like really confident, and I'm like party goer, and well, not party goer, but you get what I mean, like superstar, that sort of thing. Then I have another one that I love. I call him Emperor Gideon III, because I'm Gideon III. I was watching a Netflix thing where this guy was an emperor, right? And there's something about that is just cool. Like you're an emperor. Like you wake up, you go on your balcony, and you stare over your empire, and it's like, okay, you've got like, there's a war coming up. You need to like strategize. You got all these things. You need to make moves. Life is like a chessboard, right? You're making little moves and that sort of thing. And I love just like being like, whenever it's time. So how I split them is that I'm MJ7 most of the time. When I go out, I'm MJ7. When I'm like working out, obviously because I'm an athlete, I do that sort of thing. I call myself MJ7 then. But then when it's time to like do work, whatever kind of work it is, I turn into like Emperor Gideon III, right? Like there's something, because now I feel like I'm strategizing. That's my character, right? And the cool thing about like building your hypermasculine character is that the more you do it, the closer you get. And I should probably make a video on this as well, right? But there's like different kinds of characters you can choose. Like I mentioned to you how you've got like the alphas of today are kind of like, you know, your tech nerds and that sort of thing. But you've also got athletes, you've got superheroes, you've got rappers, you've got whatever it is. Like you can pick like your own thing. And like again, I've just said like emperor, right? Like the emperor again. Like, there's also a bit of like Thomas Shelby in that. Like, you know, like again, Thomas Shelby is like he's like a mastermind. He's making moves and that sort of thing. You can pick like whatever you want. Like you can pick whatever you want. And the thing is, the aim is to keep doing what that person does until you become that person, right? You can literally build like just imagine like your new video game character. Your attributes are low. You just strip yourself of everything, and then you start building block by block, right? Just take that into 2023. Just take that that aspect of it and just turn your life into a video game and build your hyper masculine character. Make sure you hit the subscribe button below, and to join the self-improvement brotherhood. There's a lot of guys like you who are on self-improvement, and yeah, this can really help you on your journey. You can also join the Discord. There's a lot of people there that can help you, and until next time.